$750. Free money question of the day from the Hobico Law Firm. Give you a chance to win $100 in cash each and every morning. On the line right now is Al in Utica. Al, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Al. So who are you voting for, Al?
I want to talk about it, Bill.
Or talk about it after the
smart.
contest.
See, he has the right move. He's not going to talk about it. Just remain private so it doesn't turn into, office squabbles. April 19th is the primary. Let's give you $100 in cash. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here we go. 1943, Richard James debuted the Slinky. At what? I'm all Slinky questions here. In 1943, Richard James debuted the Slinky at what major department store in Philadelphia? Major department store in Philadelphia. Ready, go.
Woolworths.
Woolworths. You're going to go with Woolworths. All right. Well,
It's a good
guess.
Good guess.
Not the answer, though.
No,
The answer would be Gimbals. Yeah, Gimbals.
Okay, thanks anyway, Bill.
Well, hold on. I'll give you one more. The Slinky was originally invented to stabilize a rough ride on what? Ready? Go.
Tractor seat.
On a tractor seat. All right. That's another
That's
obscure,
a good guess.
but good answer. That was a boat, actually, we're looking for. Hey, I gave you 2 shots at it anyway. We'll give you dinner.
Have a good day.
Sit tight, Al. We'll give you dinner for 2, okay?
Thank you.
All right. I have, it was James Industries. And what decade, Christine, was the Slinky created? And what decade was the Slinky created? Ready, go.
1964? 1940s.
40s. Oh, so
I'm cheating.
Google over there. 1940s is the correct answer, by the way.
I was going to randomly guess the 1940s, by the way.
In studio right now with the Ride for Missing Children, which is coming up, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, is Ed Suk and Bob White. Bob, I'm sorry. I feel terrible. I just did that. I always differentiate when I don't know people, and your hair was white and your hair was dark, and I wrote that down and I used that as your last name. I'm very sorry for that. You can call me Bill Bald, okay? Just to be fair. Good morning, Bob. It's Bob Hover, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good
I
morning.
really apologize for that. All right, so tell us what is going on. That's very embarrassing what I just did there. I can't believe I just did that. Okay. So tell us what's going on today. This is law enforcement training going on today, right?
Yes, sir. We're having a missing children with special needs training for not just law enforcement, first responders.
Got it. Okay.
For how they can respond with especially missing children with autism. There's more than half of children with autism that have a tendency to wander. During that wandering episode, because they have such a diminished sense of fear, they encounter a lot of danger. So these cases are very critical, and we try to train law enforcement and first responders on how to proceed once they find the child, how to help calm the child, relax the child, and get that child safely back to their family.
I guess we don't think about the trauma that the kid goes through, right? And when it does end in a positive way, what do you do next? And that's really what we're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
There have been a lot of cases lately. We've seen an Amber Alert that ended very terribly in the Syracuse area, but we're seeing these stories, teenagers and what have you, that this is really a big problem today.
Yeah, there's a whole host of issues when it comes to our kids going missing, whether it be an infant who's abducted or a small child who's abducted or children who've run away. But when kids are missing in any community, they're usually at very high risk, regardless of the age. And right here in New York, we've got about 20,000 kids that go missing every single year, which is an enormous number if you think about it.
Now, most of those cases tend to be involving someone they know. Is that true?
Frequently.
So it'd be a frequent. What percentage? Do you have a percentage?
Yeah, well, most of the kids that go missing are not abducted. I mean, they've gone missing.
Family issues.
They may be runaway cases,
which is traumatic all in itself for everybody involved.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thankfully, the percentage of your classic stranger abductions is exceedingly low, which is great.
Bob, tell me if you could. I mean, you're the director of special programs.
Yes.
So what are they going to learn today? What are we going to be teaching today?
Well, we're partnered with Autism Speaks to provide them. It's referred to as a train the trainer program.
Yeah.
We're providing them with a PowerPoint, a lesson plan, and all the tips and tools to go out there, not only to train other members of their agency, surrounding agencies, but also members of the community outreach. Because last year we had 31 people with autism that wandered and died.
Yeah.
4 of them were adults, the other were children. And we are trying our best to make sure this doesn't happen to another child or another person with autism. So we're realizing that law enforcement alone can't solve this. It takes everybody together as a team, the entire community, to take ownership of this and help protect that child when they wander.
And how does this happen today? How do you get involved? Is it something that people are already going to be there, or can people attend? How does that work?
It's closed registration
Closed.
At this point.
Got
Yeah, we've targeted it to all the major law enforcement jurisdictions in the area and first responders.
Do me one thing, and I'm a paranoid parent. We went through a terrible time here many years ago with Sarah Ann Wood, which was a lot of what started the Ride for Missing Children for us here. And so I think parents, we tend to be a little bit paranoid. So, and I had this terrible scenario in my mind that, a child is being taken, and when an adult steps in and says, wait a minute, what's going on here, the adult yells at the child as if the child is being disciplined and disrespectful, and they continue to walk out, and suspecting adult just says, well, that must be a parent and his child or her child. How do we, what lessons can we learn as just adults to be able to see something and know when to report it and when not to, or maybe there isn't a when not to?
Yeah, well, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. This is not unlike our response to terrorism. And that is, when you see something, you got to say something. We all have responsibilities as adults to protect kids. And the more that we can do to protect children when we see them in some potential danger, the better opportunity we're going to have to keep them safer.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you should be intervening and, grabbing that child or getting involved physically? No, we don't usually recommend that, but call 911, call a security officer if you're in a mall. We work very closely with the retail establishments on what we call Code Adam to train retail establishments on how to respond when a child goes missing, or how to respond when there's an issue of potential risk to kids.
Right.
So, utilizing those kind of methods that are right around us, tapping into security personnel, calling 911, getting law enforcement involved is really the best way to approach it.
Listen, I was very offended once that I got home and received a call from the police department. And they asked me about, it was my daughter, and the guy reported me saying that guy was way too old to be that girl's father. Very insulting, I got to say. Worse than the white remark just a few minutes ago. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm kind of glad there are people out there that do that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to. Yes, it might get a little uncomfortable, but what if?
Yeah, and it's a big what if. But boy, isn't it nice to know that someone's out there looking after you?
Yeah.
And what if it was your child who was in the hands of a perpetrator?
Yeah.
Then you'd want someone to step in.
All right. Again, we appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And of course, the Ride for Missing Children is huge here, and it's just around the corner. So
yes, 20th anniversary this year.
20 years. Pretty awesome. All right, sit tight. Thank you. WIBX will come right back.